Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's April 22, 2020. Welcome to the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, Sacramento Area Sewer District, and Sacramento County Sanitation District Financing Authority. This meeting is hereby called to order, and I'm going to ask our clerk if she will please call the roll and establish quorum.
Good morning, directors. Director Bruins?
Present.
Carr?
Here.
Harris?
Here.
Howell?
Here.
Hume?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Lee?
Here.
McGarvey? Nottoli?
Here you go.
Orozco?
Here.
Peters?
Here.
Serna?
Here.
Villegas?
Here.
Morin? And Frost?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to, at this time, invite everyone in the chambers to rise for the public, for the Pledge of Allegiance. And those of you at home who would like to join us, please do.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
The United
and
States
to the
of
republic
America,
for which it
and to
stands,
the republic
For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One thing you can count on in life is the only thing that's constant is change, right?
That's right.
So at this time, I am going to read our announcement in compliance with directives of the county, state, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. This meeting is live streamed and closed to the public. Temporary procedures are subject to change pursuant to guidelines related to social distancing and minimizing person-to-person contact. Members of the public are encouraged to submit public comments electronically. Public comments will be distributed to members of the board and are filed in the meeting record. Public comments may be related to a specific agenda item or for a matter that is not posted on the agenda, referred to as off-agenda item. To make an electronic public comment, email boardclerk@saccounty.net. Include agenda item, and it's optional to include the first and last name, your first and last name. If you wish to, you can also go online to bospublicmeetings.saccounty.net. Click on Make Comment Electronically. And at this time, I also, this meeting is being held remotely through a teleconference, and I know we have all of the board members who have called in. I'm going to ask the board members, if you don't mind, if during any portion of the meeting you have a comment, please preface it with your name and comment, question, move item, whatever you desire, and I'll try to make a list and stay on top of it. Remind me if I don't do it right. I haven't done this very many times before. And so at this time, I would like to ask the clerk if you would please read the video statement.
This meeting of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation and Sacramento Area Sewer Districts is being recorded and will be broadcast on Sunday, April 26th at 6 p.m. on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T U-verse cable systems. The meeting is closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. In accordance with Government Code 54952.3, compensation for meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, and the amount of $100 will be paid for each board member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for Sacramento County Supervisors and City of Sacramento Council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset the costs of those governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals.
Thank you very much. We do have a closed session that is scheduled for today, and we will be pushing the closed session to the end of our meeting. And so at this time, we will begin with Timed Matters, Section 1, moving forward as Sacramento County Sanitation District's Financing Authority and Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District. And our first item is Budget Workshop for Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento County Sanitation District's Financing Authority for fiscal year 2020 and 2021.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair and members of the board. I hope you hear me. Normally, we have a presentation. Staff will do a PowerPoint presentation. Given what we're going through, I've decided to summarize the budget for you. And if you have questions, and if I need to, if there's a question on a particular page of the budget book, that I can walk over to the podium and have it projected on the screen so that you can see as well. So I'll start off with the regional SAN budget. It has two fund centers, the operating budget and the capital budget. For the operating budget, what we're requesting net of depreciation is $149.4 million, approximately $2.8 million over the current year budget. Some of the highlights. We have about a $1.6 million increase for cost of living adjustments that have been pre-negotiated with the labor unions. And also there's increase in retirement costs as well as the healthcare premiums. So the 1.6 million is for that. And there's also, we're projecting a 2.6 million increase in electricity because of the SMUD rate increase, as well as putting some of the Eco Water project systems in service. So we anticipate the energy use that is going to go up as well, not only the rate increase. So from that, we expect a 2.6 million increase. We are offsetting some of the increases by a reduction in a chemical budget by $2.5 million. If you remember, one of the elements of the Eco Water project is a nitrifying side stream treatment process. It actually makes a chemical that we use in place of the chlorine that we previously used. So we would anticipate actually a reduction in the chemical cost for this year, for the upcoming year. So there's some minor increases or decreases in other places. So those are the highlights for the operating budget increases. Now, we're also, for the next fiscal year, we're moving the Interceptor Operation Maintenance Group to SASD side, primarily because SASD does the operation maintenance of collection systems. We felt that it is beneficial for both districts. It's more synergistic to SASD operations and be more efficient to move those responsibilities to the other side. So with that move, there's 23 positions that are going to be moved from the regional SAN side to SASD operations. And the salaries budget reflect the reductions due to the transfer because those are now budgeted on the SASD side. And the regional SAN still will pay for those costs, but of course through the salary, through the supplies and services through a different part of the budget. So that's in a nutshell on the operating budget. Then I'm going to move over to the capital side of it. We have a total of $320 million, about $55 million less than what we have requested last year, primarily because of the reductions in the Eco Water project. As the Eco Water project is starting to wind down, we have finished close to 15 different projects that are part of the Eco Water project, and there are really 2 or 3 that are large projects that are in construction. So the construction will continue on those projects. So the total of capital budget of $320 million, $205 million we're projecting for the capital projects, and I'll go over some of the highlights on where that capital project money is going to, and then also about $100 million for the debt service. Some of the key capital projects are for the Eco Water project, $143 million, and the Emergency Storage Basin D rehabilitation project to $16.3 million. We've already bid that project. The TICART is going to start work, and actually they're doing the submittals now. And also the South County Ag Project, there's an item in the consent calendar hiring consultants to start that project for the planning and design. So that's where some of the expenditures come in, about $15 million. If you remember, we currently have about $285 million grant associated with that project. And then also Arden Pump Station improvements, about $6.2 million, and the digester improvements round out about $3.7 million. There's some smaller other ones which are included in the budget book. And some of the key points for the regional sand budget, we're not projecting any rate increase for the next year. As a matter of fact, when we presented to you the financial plan early this year, we were projecting no rate increases for many, many years. But obviously, with the COVID situation, it's fluid, and we don't know exactly what the impacts are going to be. We'll be monitoring, and no new positions are being requested. And Regional Sand has healthy reserves. Today, I think we have, as of March, we have roughly $480 million in reserves, of which $280 million is a designated reserves and about $200 million undesignated reserves. It's a cash. So we're in a healthy situation to weather this storm, at least in the near-term basis. As I have said in my budget summary, don't know yet what the impacts of COVID is going to be on us. Obviously, there's going to be some reduction in revenues, but we will know more once maybe in the next 3-4 months or so. If we need to rebalance the reserves, once we know the impacts, we'll come back to the board. Obviously, at the end of the current fiscal year, we will know what the revenue situation is, and if any rebalances are needed, we'll bring back to the board for those changes. With that, I'm going to pause and see if you have any questions.
Okay, at this time, I will invite any board members who may have questions for Prabhakar.
Director Frost, this is Jeff Harris.
Hi, Jeff.
Prabhakar, I do have a question about the transferring of the interceptor positions to SASD. It looks like in the budget that's about $2.6 million or so that was taken off the budget line item there. And if I'm reading this correctly, on page 9 of the budget book, it looks like you've transferred it to water quality services as to pay out for those positions. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the way that works is, good question. We budget in 1,000 accounts for salaries, and which is where you will see a reduction. So the interceptor team, the salaries are roughly about $3 million. But remember, there are some cost of living adjustments and other costs that are also for the staff that are remaining. So the net difference in the salaries and services is less than what the interceptor salaries are. What happens is those interceptor salaries are budgeted on the SASD side, and that is charged back to Regional Sand under the water quality services, which is where the charges will hit.
Yeah, so under water quality services, it shows an increase of $4.1 million, and so it's clearly more than those salaries being paid to SCSD. What's the balance? Difference between?
So some of the, for example, it's a good question. So the salaries, the straight salaries, and so some of the overhead, the way that it charged, the way that each district charges. Regional Sand, so for example, all the internal services, even my compensation, the public affairs, the finance, and all of those positions are budgeted on the Regional Sand side, even though we support both districts. So when we provide that service, SASD gets charged essentially a loaded rate. And the same way when now the SASD is providing their service, they get paid the loaded rate. That's the difference.
So under water quality services in the line item budget where it's increased by $4.1 million, You're saying that all of that is going to SASD for the interceptor positions?
No, actually, if the salaries are roughly about 3 million, that's what we budgeted on the SASD side. The about 3.5 to 3.6 is what goes to SASD. It's not all of the 4.1 is related to the interceptor thing.
Okay, that essentially was my question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Prabhakar.
Thank you, Director Harris. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, Stu Frost, Don Nottoli, just a quick question.
Good morning, Director Nottoli. Sure.
Good morning. Prabhakar, on page 11, under the program budget for bufferlands, you have a category there for park rangers. Have we ever had we had ranger positions out there? Are they considered park rangers? I'm just curious.
Park rangers.
Oh, park rangers? Is that
Yeah.
what No, so park rangers no longer provides those services to the district.
Okay, so we got 0 in all those columns. I was curious, and so do we need to continue to show that then, or is it because it was previously authorized and you're showing year to year? But yeah, I was just curious. I didn't think we used those services, so.
I unfortunately, again, first of all, let me give you a little bit of my difficulty here. I'm half deaf, so I'm having a little difficult time.
He's asking, I'm struggling also, but I think Director Nottoli is asking about park rangers included in our budget.
Yeah. No, park rangers stopped providing service to the districts probably about a couple of years ago. So we no longer have the park ranger service. I'm going to pause and ask Ruben to weigh in. Ruben, if you're on the line, could you please weigh in?
Yes, Ruben Robles, Director of Operations. Director Nottoli, Prabhakar is right. We no longer use park rangers. About 2 years ago, they approached us, and let me back up. We had used park rangers on site for security for many, many years. And roughly 2 years ago, they approached us and said that county legal said they could no longer provide services at the plant because it was out of their jurisdiction. They should only be providing those park ranger services to the actual American River Parkway. So we said, okay, we no longer use them, and we have increased our private security services over the last couple of years. So to answer your question, we no longer need that line item, and we can delete it for next year.
I appreciate the explanation, because I'm kind of curious, and maybe this is for Krista, that, when we say out of jurisdiction, it's still in the unincorporated area of the county. Park rangers go to, park facilities up and down the Delta and, provide services to lands that are outside of the parkway. I didn't think rangers were just solely assigned to the parkway. There are rangers assigned to the parkway. And again, if we've accommodated it, certainly it's not a sanitation district issue. Because I'm just curious as to how we make the finding that if we had a contract with another county agency, provide those services on buffer lands, public lands that have recreational attributes, environmental attributes. Why? I appreciate the information. I guess, Krista, could you weigh in?
This is Krista Whitman. Thank you, Don, for your question. I don't actually know the background of this, but I can find out. I was not involved in this, but I can find out and get you that information.
Okay, good. That's fine. I know this is budget. I just saw it in there, and it was zeros in there, but I was just curious, and I knew in times past we provide those services. So that's all I have for today. But I appreciate some more background and understanding, not so much from the district side, but from the county side as to why there's a problem for us to provide those services. So, okay, thanks.
Thank you. And I just want to make note that Robert McGarvey, Director McGarvey from Rancho Cordova, has joined us in chambers. So welcome. Are there any...
Madam Chair, this is Oscar. This is Oscar Villegas. I had a very quick question, if I could.
I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Oscar Villegas.
Oh, hi, Oscar. Yes, please.
Yes, Prabhakar, I just wanted to confirm for those of us that have been around during the time that West Sacramento negotiated into the district. So the interceptor line, I'm assuming the work that you're talking about with the 23 positions is including the lower northwest portion of the interceptor. If that's the case, I just want to make sure that We let folks know who live in very, very close proximity to a 10-foot diameter line, those who were around during the negotiations, to have that trenched near their home when there are vehicles in maintenance mode, the maintenance vehicles that are going around. So I'm assuming that work has already been done, because I've seen the SASD, the maintenance vehicles, checking what looks like proximate to the interceptor line. So I just wanted to confirm that that's the case with the lower northwest interceptor, to let folks know, those are the residents who are holding us accountable to what we said was going to be maintenance responsibilities nearly 20 years ago. So is that true?
So let me answer that, and then I'm going to pause and have Ruben also weigh in. So whatever the way it's going to work is all the assets, the interceptor assets, we have roughly 160 miles of pipeline and pump stations, 8 pump stations. We have 3 other pump stations that we contract the city of Sacramento to provide the services to. So those services will now be provided as part of the SASD operations. The people that were providing the services will be the same people. They're just going to be on the other side of the organization providing the services. Right. Now, any kind of the landscape maintenance part of it, the right-of-way maintenance, those are all going to be done by the regional sand side of operations. It's a different group that does all the landscape part of it, and we will continue to do that.
All right. Okay. The reason I ask is because some homes are very, very close proximate to the vents where they actually vent the sewer lines, and they were, as you can imagine, very nervous about ongoing maintenance for the ventilation pipes that come out of the ground that are literally within feet of their homes. So I just want to make sure that nothing has changed, so that when I get called, I'm able to answer the question. But it sounds like not much is going to change. So good enough. Thank you.
Yeah. So on the venting part, so we. SASD has a lot of experience in those kinds of situations, more so than Regional Sand does. And obviously, Regional Sand has a very tight service level. So if there's a venting and orders come, and we log those complaints, and we respond to with a treatment or mitigation efforts. And the interceptor team will continue. Interceptor team will continue to monitor those and take care of those, any venting issues if it happens. They'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other comments before we?
Madam Chair, this is Director Serna.
Good morning, Director Serna. Please.
Good morning. I had a question on page 14. The hardware and software line item, I note that we have an estimated year end that is below approved budget, but then we show roughly $500,000 increase for the budget request for 2021. And I see in the explanation that there's a reference to a backup system lease, and application software maintenance and renewal costs. But I wanted to get some a little bit of detail as to why we're projecting more than $500,000 for that particular line item.
I'm going to just take first shot, and then I'm going to have Ruben or Matt. Matt Doyle might be a better person to answer. These are so a bulk of the costs that are included in there, so Regional Sand has a number of software licenses that we maintain. Depending on how the software licenses come due, because we usually may have a 2-year, 3-year licenses. So those costs could be hitting that bucket and hence needing the increase. So I'm going to pause there and have Matt weigh in. Matt Doyle. Matt?
This is Matt. Yeah, that's correct. I don't know the particulars, but there are some hardware, software that are hitting 2021. So I can get back with those once I talk to Jeff, the IT manager.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, software license renewal costs are something that I think we're all familiar with in our respective agencies. It struck me that that's a fairly sizable amount for that particular purpose. So, yeah, when you can provide that detail, I'd be interested to see it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And my understanding is this is coming back in May, so we can come back with some of these answers at our next meeting.
Good point, Chair Frost, that today you're providing input into the budget, and the actual approval happens on May 13th. So we'll definitely bring back those answers.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, I think we have some direction with some feedback that the board has requested, and so we'll be coming back on May 13th with this item.
Yes.
And so
we'll bring that information back. I think the two outstanding things, one that our council is going to look into the question that Director Nottoli raised, as well as Director Serna raised, the software license increases. Those we'll answer those before that.
Great. And I do not have any public comments, so we do not have anyone in the chambers. So with that, yes.
And the clerk of the board's office has not received any public comment in the comment box.
Okay. Did somebody chime in? Okay. With that, I think we will move to item 2.
Item number 2, acting as your Sacramento County Sanitation District's Financing Authority, and Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, and Sacramento Area Sewer District Separate Matters, Budget Workshop for Sacramento Area Sewer District and Sacramento County Sanitation District's Financing Authority for fiscal year 2020-21.
Okay, the same way that I have done for Regional San, I'll go through both of the operating and capital budgets and hit some key points which are relatively the same as what the Regional Sans were. And then we'll pause for questions. So operating budget for SASD, net of depreciation is $88.9 million, approximately $2.6 million over the 1920 budget. Of some of the highlights, about $3 million in increases due to budgeting for the Interceptor team moving from Regional San. And then there's about $1.5 million increases in services and supplies, and about $1 million in COLA, retirement and healthcare premiums. But these increases have been offset by about $2 million in reductions in equipment purchases, and about $1 million reduction in temporary help and other district support. So in reality, when you look at it, the increase is $2.6 million, but you offset that for the Interceptor cost increases. That's where the cost came in. The budget actually is about $500,000 lower than last year. It's just that we're budgeting on this side those costs, but they'll also get the revenue. They'll get the money back from Regional San side. On the capital budget, our total is $55 million, and $43 million of that is for the capital projects, and roughly $10.5 million for debt service. The current year capital budget is about $27 million more than what we requested last year to pay for the pre-planned projects. These were planned previously, and which I'll go through here. The mission trunk rehabilitation, the work has started, and that contributes to $23.5 million increase in the capital budget. And we're also working on the Sailor Bar Pump Station rehabilitation, which is a $6.2 million project. And the other one, which we budget every year, is for the lower lateral replacement, is the $5.5 million roughly. So those are some key capital projects that are part of the SASD budget for next year. The key points, SASD has not had a rate increase in 10 years, and we're not projecting one for next year. Hopefully a few more years, and I think our financial plan before the COVID came along, we're projecting 3 to 5 years that we would not need a rate increase. And we'll revisit that later this year to see how we're going to do. No new positions are being requested. And SASD also has healthy reserves, roughly $120 million, to weather the potential shortfall from the revenue hits from the COVID, at least on the near term. And the COVID impacts are unknown. And once we have a better handle on it, we'll come back if there are any rebalancing of the reserves that need to happen. That I envision taking place sometime this fall. Because our budget year ends June 30, and by the time all the reconciliation is done, it's probably more the early part of August. So late summer, early fall is when we'll come back if there is any rebalancing is needed. So with that, I'm going to pause and open up for questions. Before I open up, I also quickly took a look with what Director Serna has asked in terms of the software purchases. There's an issue with the IT as well. There's an increase on software purchase, so we're going to come back with answer on that as well for both, so that we'll respond to both Regional SAN and SASD.
Thank you. Do we have any directors at this time that have questions?
Chair Nottoli.
Director Nottoli.
Maybe goes to both
Yes.
SASD and SCRSD. Where do we find the confluence portions of the budget? And I know that you from time to time brought different elements of projects to us, and there are different categories. Is that specifically called out? And if so, then there's been projects that are being considered, and obviously district staff has authorities on different community projects to fund, and there's been set-asides for Parkway and other things. I'm just curious where that would be found in the budgets.
So on page 24, it's budgeted on both two sides of the organization. So SASD is more apparent than Regional SAN. On page 24, you will see two line items: Linda Manor specific septic conversion process, which is we budgeted $900,000 because we anticipate doing the design work and more working with the state to get the revenues. We also have a line from the bottom, second line from the bottom, or the septic conversion focus areas. So the planning work for the extra $340,000. So about $1 million is budgeted for the septic conversion work. And also on the Regional SAN side, there's about $300,000 for the planning type work that's budgeted. Now, that is not enough to convert all of the ones that we're looking at. The ones that I think right now the bottleneck is the state. So we're obviously waiting for the state to release approvals for the areas that we're focusing on, so that we can start implementing the design and the construction of those. The state making the commitments. One of the things that we're going to come back this fall, especially there's a lot of clamor for the infrastructure bill at the federal level. And we've already been working with, SACOG has reached out to us, and some of the trade associations that we'll belong to, that reached out to us asking for the input on what projects. So we're packaging all of these into those essentially input that they're seeking. So any infrastructure money that comes through state or federal level, that we will be in a position to take advantage of, and then we'll come back to the board to ask for additional monies, any additional monies that we may need. Essentially, there's a cost share parts, usually they're part of it. And we'll come back and with add more monies as needed, that's later this fall. So that's how we plan to do it. So we have a seed money to continue to push the planning and design of some of these areas that's in the budget right now.
Okay, so thanks for the response. And then you'll be coming back, as you said, in the fall on the infrastructure. But can we get a status update on the various areas? I know you're working, maybe where we are, and again, it's not necessarily all tied to budget, although obviously we're encumbering some costs. Kind of where we stand with the various areas that have been designated as being areas that we're trying to do septic tank conversion in.
We definitely will bring an update to the board. I'm going to ask Christoph to bring it up. If not in May, I don't think it'll probably in the May. It'll be in July is when we may end up bringing the update to the board.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks, Rebecca. Okay, thanks, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Nottoli. Any other comments or questions? And I don't see Director McGarvey. Good. Okay. I think we have what we need to move forward.
That's right.
And
We
thank
will
you very much.
come back with the final budgets with the, essentially with clarifications. We'll provide those before the budget comes back on May. We're anticipating bringing these items back on May 13th for the final approval.
Thank you, Prabhakar. And I do not have any public comment on this item as well. Alma?
No, I do not. The clerk's office does not have any public comment.
Great, thank you. So, moving forward as Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, our next item is consent matters.
Items 3 through 11.
Do we have any directors who wish to pull any items from consent for discussion or questions?
I'll move the item.
Madam Chair, this is Director Hume. Lacking that, I'll go ahead and move the consent calendar.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who seconded? I'm sorry.
Director Howell seconded.
Carrie.
Okay,
Dr. Hume,
so we have a motion by Director Hume and a second by Director Howell. And we will do a roll call vote, please.
Director Bruins?
Aye.
Carr?
Aye.
Harris?
Aye.
Howell?
Yes.
Hume?
Aye.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
McGarvey?
Here. Aye.
Nottoli?
Aye.
Orozco?
Aye.
Peters?
Aye.
Serna?
Aye.
Villegas?
Aye.
Warren? And Frost?
Aye.
Unanimous vote, and the motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move forward to public comment for items that are not on the agenda. I do not have any. Ask our clerk.
And the clerk has not received any public comments on off-agenda items.
Okay, so moving forward as Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District separate matters. Before I turn it over to Prabhakar for his comments, I just wanted to thank you, Prabhakar, and all the staff. We all received the email, and many of us read in the Business Journal about how the Regional Sanitation District has been proactively trying to find ways to help businesses during a really difficult time. For those of us, we all have constituents who are struggling right now, so we really appreciate that you have done that, and so I'm sure you're going to share a little bit more about it, but thank you for your efforts.
Oh, thank you. This is a team effort. We've tried to do as much as we can under the conditions that we're in, and we're willing to help wherever we can help. So I'm going to go through what are all the things that we're doing or we have done, so at least you have a sense of where we're going. So first of all, when we had this COVID response, I want to focus on the staff first. We roughly about 60% of our staff, our business is essential business. I think yesterday I was talking with you, Director Frost, or Monday, that you said the crew are out there working.
Yes, they're in my neighborhood
Yes.
on several houses.
Yes,
It's wonderful.
and we're working obviously with the different ways. With the personal protective equipment, we separated them. We used to send 2 people in a truck, and now everybody has their individual vehicle, maintaining social distance. So far, our staff are healthy. Very few. There has been very few issues in terms of the health during this period. And staff spirits are up, and everybody feels like, obviously it's their job, and they're very enthused about doing things. And that's the staff part of it. And we will continue to provide the service that's needed for the community during this period. The next part is obviously the helping our customers who are hurting. You saw what, obviously, because one of the things is our bills go through a consolidated bill where other utilities are also billed. So there are limitations in terms of how we can put the messages on without affecting the other utilities. Because if the billing were to be done by ourselves, then obviously we have more latitude in targeting our messages and doing things in a very quick fashion. But when you're combined with others, it takes a little bit of work to do. And so what we've come out with is what we could do without affecting other utilities. So on the commercial side, we understood that many businesses close their offices, their locations because they were required to do, and some that they could not provide the service they used to. For example, restaurants, they can't feed people inside the restaurant, but they could do the takeout businesses. So what we've done is we've segregated them into categories. And those that we felt that they had to shut down, for example, the bowling alleys, the movie theaters, or the hairdresser, hair salons, or things like that, we have proactively essentially put credits on their account, drop them down to the least that we could do, one equivalent single-family dwelling unit charge. That's the minimum charge that they get during that period. From the time that the order has been issued, which I believe is March 17th, and right now it's set to expire on May 1st, or whenever that it expires. If it expanded during that period, all that group of folks will pay the minimum charge to us, not the normal charge. Then the next category is the offices, where we categorize them as not being occupied normally. So we put a 75% credit in what the normal use is in that group of businesses. And then to the restaurants, we put 50% credit, thinking that they're still working and doing some help out the community. So they have a 50% credit. With all, we have said, if you feel like, for example, some restaurants, and I drive by, there are some Rubio's restaurants that are closed. They're not open. All they have to do is call us, and we'll put them to the zero site, where the least amount. So we actually said, if you don't feel like how we've categorized you and how we've given you the credit, and if you need further adjustment, please call us. And also, we have changed our websites where the businesses, there's a form that they can fill and tell us how they're operating, so our folks will get with them to make adjustments, whatever they're appropriate. So that's one thing that we've done.
I have a question.
Director McGarvey.
Yeah. Have you ever tried using those electric billing that's out there? Because they do put community service items on there, and maybe you could use that, because they do it free on those electric billing, to kind of identify people and let them know what's going on as far as their billing is concerned, especially people at restaurants, as you were saying. When there's nothing there for them to do and it's closed, maybe they don't know any of the information that you're talking about right now. Maybe they could put that on one of those or on those billing boards. That might be helpful.
Well, we'll look into that also. In our consolidated bill, there's a small area where our comments can go in. We're also looking at making more tailored comments to that area without affecting the other utilities on the bill. So we'll look at that too as a venue to do that.
Yeah, thank you.
The other thing that we have done prior to the COVID order, if there were accounts that were delinquent, so what happens is when somebody hasn't paid, we've entered into payment plans that people were essentially extended payment plans. We've stopped collecting on those payment plans during this period. That's an action we've taken that right away. And also, we have, there are people that are calling in. We have concern about the delinquencies. We are giving them a 90-day reprieve, meaning that no delinquencies apply during the 90-day period. So that anybody that calls in, they're doing that at this point. And one of the things that we're going to need to address in the future is there's a provision for a 10% penalty when somebody doesn't pay. And we're going to recommend that we not apply that penalty during this period. so that when people are unable to pay and then they come back up and through some payment plan, be able to pay that back later, we don't want to include that penalty. But that requires, we're exploring further, if that requires a board action, we're going to come back here for a board action on that. My hope is that it doesn't require it. Again, if it does, we're going to come back for that action. And also, we have a number of construction contracts and suppliers, obviously being as an essential business. They're continuing, obviously, with the social distance protocols implemented at those places. So work is happening. But in a nutshell is what I wanted to give you an update. And our next board meeting is on May 13th. And if we get all our activities done at the 13th that we were planning for, I envision that we wouldn't need board meetings for a couple more months after that. So that, at least that's a projection at this point. I'm going to pause, and if anyone have questions,
I just want to ask, you said you proactively, so you did this with every one of your accounts by category?
Or the commercial accounts.
Wow.
Because it takes about, I want to first, let me pause and actually acknowledge a number of people. The Consolidated Utility Billing Systems, Wendy Randolph and her staff, it took a couple of weeks, for them it takes a couple of weeks of programming work to do that. This is a unique thing. And on our side, Amy Norman, who is our customer service manager, she worked tirelessly to develop these categories and to see how it can be done. And then also, she's the one who's been working with the other utilities. For example, half of City of Sacramento, City of West Sacramento, and City of Folsom, they bill for regional SAN. So their billing systems have to be adjusted. So we're working with them to make sure that what we're applying through Consolidated Utility Billing System is also available to other areas. The businesses in those areas are also treated the same way as we're doing in this larger area. So there's a lot of work that's going on to help.
And it's a huge help, I think. Every little bit helps people. Do we have any directors who have comments or questions?
Larry Carr.
Yes, Director Carr.
Pre-Barker, one of the things that I'm noticing is that there are so many different organizations like Regional SANs that are doing fantastic things to try to help people during this period. And many of those organizations have websites that have been set up that have virus pages to them, where they are consolidating the resources that are available for people. Are we tying into the cities and the counties' COVID-19 pages? I understand we're putting things in our bills, but are we tying into those pages so that individual can go to one spot and look at all of the resources that are available, to include what Regional SANS is doing?
It's a very good question. I'm going to address this, but I think I may have to have staff research more and get back with you. So this is how I will do it first. We have both on our websites, we have prominently displayed COVID help, in terms of if somebody needs help, it pops up a form, a page where they can fill out and then we'll get back to them. I think we could link those to the other cities' utilities that bill for us. The question is, it's because they bill for us, it's they would have to receive that information and make those adjustments. But we're gonna work with them. We're gonna go to the other cities and see if there's a way that we can synchronize our work with them.
Okay. I think that would be very helpful.
We're going to look into that.
There's so much information floating around and so many different resources that if we can't put them all in one basket, we're going to drive people nuts going from organization to organization, trying to see what's available. And in fact, they aren't going to do it. So to the extent that we can tie in and let the cities and the county have their page with all of the resources that are available from every single agency, all the discounts that are available, all the food delivery programs that are available. I think we do our citizens a good service.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Carr.
This is Jeannie Bruins.
Hi, Director Bruins.
I have a question for you, Prabhakar. And that is, first of all, I want to just thank you and your staff for the phenomenal job you've done to give consideration to our hurting businesses. And my question has to do with outreach. In addition to any notices we've sent into bills, are we doing any direct mailing to them to let them know that these programs are available, so that if their doors are closed and they're not reaching out to us, what are we doing to reach out to them?
We have not done the direct mailing, but we can definitely consider doing that. What we are contemplating doing again is targeted messages on our space in the bill, where they essentially ask them to call us in terms of if they need help. And so far, we've been obviously our websites is a place if they go to, they'll be able to see that information we can use to help us out. But certainly, it's the point that you raised. I'm going to work with Nicole to see if there's the avenue that we can also use to outreach.
Because that'd be great, because I think there are a lot of small businesses, particularly those that are shuttered, that are probably so overwhelmed they're not necessarily thinking, gee, I need to call SASD to see if I can get some relief on my bill. I mean, maybe they are, but I would suspect there are many that are not. So whatever proactive outreach we could do to help expand what we have to offer, I think would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Bruins. Hearing no others, I believe you had a couple more items that you were going to. Did you have other
No, we're
points
done on the district engineer update.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhakar. Moving on, as Sacramento Area Sewer District consent matters, items 14 through 17. Do we have any directors who wish to pull any items for comments or questions?
I'll move consent. It's carried.
Okay.
This is Hume. I'll second.
We have a motion by Director Howell and a second by Director McGarvey. Sorry, guys, he got to me first. And we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Director Bruins?
Aye.
Carr?
Aye.
Frost?
Aye.
Howell?
Yes.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Nottoli? Nottoli?
Oh, aye.
Peters?
Aye.
Serna?
Aye.
McGarvey?
Aye.
Hume?
Aye.
And the motion passes unanimous vote.
Are you curious if Villegas is? Maybe I'll just vote no.
I'm sorry?
Villegas, do you want Villegas to vote?
Director Villegas.
Yeah, so we're as needed for the closed session. All the regional
yes.
members are needed for the closed session.
Yes, so at this time, we are moving forward. There are some communications, miscellaneous matters I want to make note of for everyone to take a look at those, and I know Prabhakar has discussed part of those. Our next meeting is May 13, so we're adjourning now to closed session where everyone will call in to another number.
That's
and
correct.
Those of us who are in board chambers will reconvene in hearing room 1. And so we will catch you on the other side on the phone with closed session. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. This meeting's adjourned.
Are we coming back?
Okay, this meeting of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, Sacramento Area Sewer District, and Sacramento County Sanitation District Financing Authority is called back to order. We are back from closed session. There is nothing to report out. And so at this time, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Appreciate it.